Hi, I'm Brent Johnson, and I'm in the studio again today. I was hoping to have an organ video out for you this week, but things have not been moving along as fast as I would like. After Christmas, a lot of people I've talked to have said that they don't think the organ sounds its best right now. They would want to put things off. So I have a number of things lined up for after Easter, but that's still a few months away. So we're even going out tomorrow on a little field trip to do some scouting for hopefully some future videos. So stay tuned. We'll have some new things out very soon. We have a lot of new subscribers. Thank you. A lot of you liked our Wurlitzer Fox Theater video. We're very happy to get that out finally. That was a project that we worked on for a very long time. So I'm glad it has been well received and I'm glad you're enjoying it. I've heard from a lot of you. I get a lot of questions by email and in the comments, and I often don't have time to answer all of them. A lot of them are the same question. So I thought I would take some time on this snowy day today to answer a few questions that I've gotten in. The first one, the biggest question I get is, how do we decide what organs we go see? That's a good question. It's the first batch, the first dozen or so we did, especially, they were just kind of random. They were organs that I had some reason to go see. I was there to fix something, or I was recording somebody else, or recording some other event, and I said, hey, why don't we just bring in some cameras too, and let's look at this organ while we're here and try this new thing we're doing. So it was just kind of random. I ended up sitting next to a guy at an event one time and said, oh, can I come see the organ at your church tomorrow? And so we were there the next day. It's just whatever happens to come up. That's with some of the local ones. Now, some of the ones we've been on the road to see, there were specific things we were headed that way to see. But we frequently have just talked to the locals ahead of time and said, we're going to be in the area. What are some good instruments that you'd like us to show off? And they usually can recommend something. And then it's a matter of scheduling and seeing if it fits to get everybody in there at the same time. Things like the OHS organs that we went to see, those were all sort of suggested by the local committee that was putting on the convention. And same thing, we're looking at going to Columbus for their OHS ahead of their OHS convention. And so I've got a list of potential organs in Columbus, Ohio that we're trying to line up to see if we can make that work. The second question I get usually, would you go see some specific organ? I want to see this organ I've heard about. And I would say, yes, I'd love to. I'd love to go see a lot of organs. Our biggest trick is getting there. It's the travel time and expense. We usually drive to locations because we have so much gear to take along. It's hard to get it all on a plane, and there aren't a lot of trains that can get us everywhere, even though we can get most of the country from St. Louis, but it's just not the best option. I mean, car is the best way to get there, which adds a lot of time and expense. And so it's just a matter of trying to work things in with our schedule. If we do go somewhere, I'd like to put as many things on the plate as possible so that we can have as much video content come out of the trip as possible. So we try to line up a lot of things, which brings the next question I get is, would you come see my organ? Somebody's got an instrument they want to put on YouTube and want us to come out and show it. I would say, yes, I'd love to. I'd love to come wherever you are in the country and make a video about your organ. But again, we have to get there. And if you're not close to St. Louis, it's tricky. So to that end, like I said, I like to show as many instruments as we can while we're in an area. So I would suggest, if you're not personally capable of helping us cover expenses, maybe you could talk to your local AGO chapter or OHS group or NPM, whatever there's other individuals in your area that would be interested in having us come and do videos about multiple organs where you are. Then we can probably talk about that. We're a 501c3, so contributions to the Organ Media Foundation are tax deductible, meaning that if you make a donation that would help cover our expenses, then we would be happy to talk about coming to see the instruments where you are. So keep that in mind and let me know. You can always contact me anytime. My email is brent@organmedia.org. I'm happy to hear from you. Now, the next question I get is about the equipment that we use to make these videos, either because you're impressed or you're not, and you want to know why it's not working. So I will start with the audio because I've been recording audio for a long time, and my go-to microphone for a long time is this. This is an AKG C414 or 414B, depending on what country you're from. It's kind of a standard microphone. It's very high quality, but it's not rare. They're easy enough to find. You can't actually get this exact one anymore. They've changed the style a little bit, but it's a nice condenser microphone. One thing that I really like about it is that it has multiple pickup patterns. So if you really want to get an omnidirectional pickup and get all of the reverb of the room, you can do that. Or if you want to focus it just wherever it's pointed, right towards a chamber, or I've used it for recording people speaking, so it's very good for that too. You can adjust it as needed, so it's really flexible to have a pair of these. They do a great job, and they're small. You want to take care of them. They're expensive. I'm happy to say I did not pay full price for that one. I found somebody selling a pair used, so that was our go-to mic for a long time. I have another option for places where omnidirectional pickup is not as much. And this one's kind of our little secret that I'm sharing. And the reason it's a secret is because this is not an expensive microphone. This is a Chinese-made model, and it was actually recommended to me by somebody who's a professional and knows a whole lot about audio. It's this funny-looking little thing. It's 2 microphones. It's a stereo pair, and it's in an ORTF layout, so 2 microphones at 120 degrees, I think that is. It has a proprietary connector that stereo pair comes out of, and you can plug those into your device. It comes in this nice little case. But again, it's not expensive at all compared to the AKGs. This is Superlux S502. I have taken the output of these microphones and compared it directly to the AKGs, and I can't tell a difference. And I've heard from somebody I respect and trust a lot that he can't tell a difference either when he's used them. That was the recommendation I needed. So if you're in a place where everything is in one location, if the organ's all in the front, then especially smaller instruments, that's a great pair to use. I just put them out in the room wherever the organ kind of sounds the best, and it really gives you a true representation of what a listener standing in that position would hear. It gives you a good idea of the space. It doesn't capture, say, a lot of reverb if you're in a big hall, because you're not getting the reflections from the back as much. But sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want a cleaner sound, so it's good just to have it focused at what's right in front of you. So that's that little secret. In addition, we have a pair of Rode lavalier Go's, they're called, little clip-on microphones. I like these because they've got the 2-band connectors on a 1/8-inch connector that at least used to plug into a cell phone, so you could use your cell phone as a recorder and just have this on. I've got adapters for a regular 1-ring connector to go into a normal audio device. I also have the adapter for USB-C because my cell phone doesn't take a headphone jack anymore, so you have to use a USB-C connector if you want to use that lavalier mic with it. Those are handy just to have out and about to get nice clear audio. Now, what do we record with? My go-to for many years now has been this. This is the Marantz PMD 661. They don't actually make this anymore. This one is several years old. It's tough. It's been beaten up. I've had to open it up to fix some things and put it back together, and it still works miraculously. Really flexible, really nice high-end recorder. It does have internal microphones, which are good, but it sounds best to use external microphones. So it's got XLR connections. You can do a line in as well. Just a good durable thing. It has a good long battery life. It just takes 4 AA batteries, or you can use AC power as well. So that's mostly what we go to for recording organs. It does have a tripod connector, so I've got a clamp, so I can just clamp this onto the microphone pole. The short leads off of the Superlux can go right into it, and that's all you need. You set that up, it's all battery powered, and you don't have to worry about running a lot of cables or having extra stands or equipment. In addition, we also got this in our inventory. This is the Tascam DR100 MX2. We've had this for a few years as well. This was purchased for like podcast interview recordings. The internal mics are very good. It does okay for recording music, but mainly I use it for speech. It does have this, and the Marantz all have SD cards for memory. It does have XLR inputs as well. And just a nice little thing. The battery life is not fantastic. It only takes 2 AA's, but it does have an internal rechargeable battery. So you kind of have a backup whenever you go out. But yeah, it's not as expensive as the Marantz, and it seems to do a really reliable job. Now, I was out somewhere, and we forgot the Tascam. So the only thing I could pick up quickly was this, which is a Zoom HN4. These are pretty popular. I like this. The sound quality is fine. It's a little slow to boot up if you have a large memory card in it. It also uses SD media. And the battery life is not great on this. It's just 2 AA batteries, and that's all you get. But it was good in a pinch, and it solved the problem we had. I have these adapters in here, so you can plug in the Rode lavaliers. These are just 1/8-inch to XLR adapters plugged in, and I leave them there so I don't lose them. But yeah, it was a good stopgap. Now, both the Tascam and the Zoom, we've used those just with their internal microphones to record me talking, to record someone else talking as needed. They work fine for that. But for recording, especially for getting the range of sound that an organ produces, it's really better to have an external mic. I think it improves over what those come with internally. And so that brings us to the video that we're using. This is something where I'm not as knowledgeable, so I've just been learning by trying. And the camera we've been using lately, this is what I'm recording into right now, this is a Canon Vixia HF G20. I found one of these last year from an aspiring filmmaker who was deciding it was time to sell his equipment. And so I picked it up and gave it a shot, and I really like it. It's got a great image quality. It has some good automatic settings, just turn it on and go. It's also got a lot of manual controls if you want to adjust exposure and aperture, all those little things like that. So it's just a nice, interesting camera. And not long ago, I found someone else who had one used for sale, so I snagged it so that I have two. The nice thing about having two is that when we have two cameras on scene, that you're getting the same lighting and the same color, which is stuff I used to have to adjust in post-production after the fact because the cameras were different brands or whatever I had. So it's nice to have two of those. I really like them. I also have, I think this was given to us. This is another Canon. This is a Vixia HF R400. Little camcorder, nice and cute. It does okay. It's got a nice clear picture. It's not quite as high quality as those because the sensor's smaller, but if we have a tight space where we need a small camera to get another view, it's handy to do. I've got a lot of little tripods and clamps. You can attach cameras anywhere, so this one's handy because it's mainly because it's light. And then my favorite one, this is one of the few I bought new. This is my GoPro. This is a 6 Black. They have several different model numbers and styles. The main reason to get the GoPro is it has the super wide angle shot that allows us to get inside organ chambers. I actually went into a camera shop and described what we were trying to do, and this was the camera they recommended for being able to do super wide angle in a small space. So what I have come to like it more and more because it actually in normal view shoots really well. So in fact, the video I did outside the Fox that rainy day, I just used this on a tripod. That's all it was. Now the audio on these is horrible. So you need to have an external audio source, but it's just a really versatile. In fact, that's all it is. That's all the camera part is. One thing that sort of bothers me about them is that all of the connecting hardware, the stick, the foam on it, is all proprietary GoPro branded stuff, and so it's a little more expensive. I did finally buy a standard tripod converter, and so now I can connect it to everything else I've got, the little tripods and clamps, and it makes it easier to use it wherever we need. But that's a versatile tool for any aspiring video maker. I recommend it. In fact, I'd like to get another one. The new ones, I'm told, have external audio connections, so I could maybe plug the Rode microphone into it, the lavalier or another source. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I haven't looked because I'm not shopping for new stuff right now. But if you are, I recommend the GoPro. My other camera, and actually one of the best cameras we've got, this is my cell phone. It's a Google Pixel 2. It has a really good 4K camera on it, and it's just a phone. It's really nice to use for console shots. You can put it up on the music rack and get a face shot of the organist. So that's been a handy little thing to have. And I've also used it for other just sort of panning outdoor shots. Walking into the church, I'll pull my phone out of my pocket and take some pictures, and it works really well. Which brings the point that doing this is a lot cheaper, even in sort of mediocre levels than it was a long time ago. So if you're interested in learning to make videos, wanting to make videos, if you've got ideas, just give it a try. You don't need top of the line equipment. You can use your cell phone, get a cheap recorder like the Zoom to get good audio, and there's even free software to edit videos and to put the audio and the video together. There's definitely free audio editing software that I've used. Just give it a shot, and we'd love to see what you can do with it. So here in our studio, this is where we do radio production. We produce the King of Instruments, which is a radio show on the air here in St. Louis. The main microphone we use here, and the one I'm talking into right now, actually, this is a Heil PR40. This is produced right across the river from us in Fairview Heights, Illinois, by Bob Heil. A lot of people know his name because he's big in ham radio, but he's also an organist organist. I knew his name as an organist before I knew he made audio equipment. He does a lot of pro audio, especially for pop music. And this is recommended for like a kick drum on a drum set, but it's also very analogous to the Electro Voice RE30s that are standard in broadcast audio. So they're a lot cheaper and they're smaller. So I like these a lot. We've got a few of those. They are condenser microphones, so they benefit from the use of a preamp. So to that end, I've got the Cloud Lifter, which is kind of an industry standard for those Electro Voice. I've also got this thing called a FET head, which you just plug in line. You can plug it right in the back of the microphone, or you can put it in as it goes into the mixer or the board. So, and these are all going into, this is a Tascam 20x20 rack mount digital audio interface, and it all goes into this laptop. What's nice about all this, because it's rack mount, I've got it in a box that will actually put the laptop in, and you can seal it up, and it rolls around like a suitcase. So if we go on location to record something where we need multi-track recording, this works really well. In fact, we've done some live radio where we recorded a concert and made a radio show out of it. When I do something like that, I have an array of Shure SM58s, which are those sort of standard silver ball microphones. They're everywhere. They're ubiquitous. They're hard to destroy. A lot of people bought them for their bands, and now they have them for sale online. And anytime I see one, I snag it. So I've got a little collection of those, which are handy to have. They're just good multi-purpose microphones, especially for recording voice. And over the years, we've also built up a little collection of all the other things you need: lights and extension cords and microphone cables and stands. You can never have enough stands and tripods at any location. So, and the things that clamp accessories onto stands. So if, I can put the audio and the microphone all on one thing. I can put a camera onto a light stand if I need to. Just little things like that you never think of until you start getting out on the road and you realize you need them. So, we have a number of lights that are both CFL and incandescent, and then I've got one LED light, and I really like it a lot. It's battery powered. The battery lasts a long time. You get a lot of light in a compact area, so we'll maybe investing in more of those in the future. So thank you for watching. I hope this has been informative for you, to let you in behind the scenes here a little bit and show you how we do what we do. I want to tell you that if you are an organist, a church musician, and you're looking for new repertoire, we have a whole new thing coming out on a new channel. This is called Your Sunday Service, and there we're going to be exploring specific works, published works, that you can buy for yourself if you want. And I don't know if at the time of the filming of this I'll be able to link to it somewhere, but up here in one of the corners, if I can, I'll put in the link to that channel, and you can start watching. We've already recorded a number of videos. They'll be going out slowly as we get time. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope you enjoy everything we do. As always, we are dependent on our sponsors to make any of this possible. We give away everything we record. That's the thing. We don't sell anything. We don't make any money off of what we do. We get a little bit of ad revenue, but it's our sponsors that make this possible. So if you really enjoy these videos, I urge you to go to organ.media and click on support and find a way that you can help us support making what we do. Sponsorships of the Organ Media Foundation begin at just $1, and we have some monthly recurring donations. If a one-time donation is more than you want to do, we can spread it out over the year. We're happy to do that. It's all automatic. It's safe. It's online through PayPal. Again, if you have any questions you want to talk to me about coming to see you, you can email me. My email is brent@organmedia.org. Until I see you next time, I hope you'll be tuned into any of our 3 stations: organlive.com, Positively Baroque, and The Organ Experience. That's where you'll find classical organ music 24 hours a day. Thank you for watching. I'm Brent Johnson, and I'll talk to you soon.